The first season was 25 or so episodes and was spent, it was my first time having such a large network show, and therefore it was my first time living on the bubble. I mean, that show was a problem child from the get-go. Sony, coming off of their previous hit Seinfeld, was always looking at, Community as the thing that wasn't enough like Seinfeld. And in their defense, the mediascape, if that's a word, has changed so dramatically in the last 5 years that what seemed like the path to success 5 years ago is clearly not anymore. People are happy to have 1 million viewers and stuff like that. But back then, for the first season, I spent it being told by the studio that I was wasting their money and by the network that they didn't know where to place the show. So, and I had a good time, and I also felt outclassed by 30 Rock and all that stuff. And I felt like I did it. I had my time in the pulpit, and I'm about to leave. I'm going to hit the lights. We had a couple extra episodes to do because NBC had ordered a couple more, and that's where we started to go a little crazy. And do some fun one-offs, including the paintball episode and the Scorsese homage episode. And that's the first point where we started to get them over that gap, because we did get picked up. During that gap, the New York Times, the best newspaper in the world. Oh, shit.
That's just their motto. It's not.
Easy. The only time is the great gentleman. That's right. The great gentleman. The old creaky lady. We started getting critical acclaim. We started getting attention. And that, I don't know if that would ever have resulted in more viewership. I never trusted the Nielsen system to measure our demographic. But one thing was for sure, it was nice to be on a few top 10 lists instead of just this thing that was neither here nor there and trying to be something and not succeeding. And all of a sudden we had an identity, we had a voice. And so going into season 2, it was like, well, we're not gonna make Scrubs at a community college. We're not gonna have a Bill Lawrence contest with Bill Lawrence. We're gonna lose. We're gonna start having a community contest with everyone else, so we can always win. Pretty simple strategy.
Chris, you were there from the start?
I came on season 1, episode 12 or 13, I believe Jack told me that was the first episode. And I said before, but it was really strange coming on the show. That was my favorite show on television. And I had them all sitting in my old 2009 DVR. All I could say were community episodes. And I started in November of 2009 on this show that I just loved, and I basically met Dan, was hired the next day, and then just went on this great, fantastic, crazy ride.
For the actors, what did you think you were getting into when you were first confronted with the show, and what does it seem like you're not? I won't say leaving because that might be sure, but where you are now, and go down the line. Jim Raff.
Well, I came in a little bit differently because Dean was a sort of a guest star, recurring possible character, and they were already shooting the pilot when I came in to audition for the Dean. And so I didn't really know, that it would become what it was as far as returning and return business. So for me, it was where we are now is like any show, is watching the evolution of there's nuggets of all these characters in the very beginning, and then you just sort of watch them sort of evolve and come alive, and where they are now is attributed to both the writers and the actors sort of take on some of these characters and them sort of feeding off each other. So for me, it was coming in and not really knowing that it would become something where I would be revisiting, being asked to come back. Because from the minute I met this one on set, I was like, oof, don't want to be part of this.
I was protecting the cast from you.
I was so well at it. that day and then why. But that's how I felt, I guess.
Yeah, and as you know, Jim's pretty funny on the show, right, guys? One of the notes from the network in 2009, by the way, was I just want him off the screen. I can finally say now that you have an Oscar and are a regular.
It's so funny. It's like, in my life, most people say just that. I want him out of this restaurant. I want him out of this bus. I want him gone. So, you know what? Hey, you gotta keep consistent, man.
I was a Mobile at the time, too. We've gone through 3 NBC regimes in 6 years, or I guess we're not on NBC, so we left them behind. Yeah. I came to the show, I was on a basic cable show, and Dan put me on network television, and I'm still on basic cable. So, no, I wanted network money, and, like, big network, real money, 25 paychecks a year, and I thought, well, I told my wife, I was like, in 6 years, if we're still on, we're going to own an island, it'll be crazy, and pay never changed, and, believe me, it's good, it's really, it's better than, he's great, it's better than a newspaper, I guarantee that, and, I guarantee you that as well. Well, that's a good deal, Ira. But on a serious note, I have nothing to say. No, and it's just that when I read that, I've never read a script like that first pilot, and I have laughed out loud on an airplane, and people thought I was insane. They duct taped me to my chair, and it's one of those things where, like, I can't imagine I'll ever be able to make it on a show, that's like this again, and that's why I'm gonna kill myself. No, so, right tonight, much like a Japanese general in World War II, if I'm not gonna lose, I'm just gonna end it. So, anyway, go ahead, Glee.
Yeah, samesies, yeah. I thought I was going to be a part of, NBC Thursday Night Comedy, which was something that I loved and watched, and I thought it seemed like a pretty normal sitcom. And then, but I will say that I'd done a couple pilots before, and there was always this really sad process from the script you read when you were cast to the terrible thing you shot, which was made terrible by network and studio notes. And working on the pilot, I remember rehearsing with Joel and Dan and Joe Russo. It was the first time I ever saw a writer take the notes and make the script better. So the thing we shot was better than the thing I auditioned for. And so I think that, and then also how incredibly talented the cast was, were my first indications that this could actually be something special. Because usually you do a pilot and there's like one weak link. I've been the weak link. Other people have been the weak link. No, I've been fired from pilots. Yes, and I've been terrible at things.
There's no show that's still continuing that you were fired from.
No.
Other than the Big Bang Theory.
That fucking island that Coco has could be mine. I was fired from a show called Traveler that was on ABC for about 6 episodes.
But look at you now.
But that to me, those were the real indications that this was something. We had John Oliver in our pilot, so Dan was pretty masterful at casting this thing, if I don't say so myself.
Pass it on to
Danny.
Can I use a microphone? So, I guess from the beginning, I knew this was a special pilot. I think I had no idea what to expect. Previously to Community, I played 5 Sanjays, so I was very excited to be non-Sanjay. That was exciting for me. And to say non-Sanjay for 6 seasons is thank you, Dan.
5 Sanjays. The Danny Pudi story.
You read Danny Pudi's book, 5 Sanjays?
Trying to differentiate Sanjays, by the way, is very difficult. It's really... That'll approach you. I think from the beginning when I read the script, I was like, this is amazing, and it's different, and it's exciting, and I was like, it'll never last. That was my first sort of like, I don't think, how is this show going to last? And it somehow did. I wasn't expecting anything. I think that's been sort of the theme of our show. Not to expect anything, and to be consistently surprised. And it's amazing over 6 years to still be so surprised every week, every day.
What were you most surprised about in sixth season?
In the sixth season?
Yeah. What was the thing you said, oh wow, this actually shocks me?
In the sixth season?
I'm just so bored.
I think the high five that Allison and I got in with the cows milking, like that, and it's a very little thing, but the fact that made it into the episode, I don't know how. We did that once. Rob Trout literally was like, I think it was like a freebie. He's like, because we kept bothering him by getting a high five in. And he's like, all right, you guys, this one, just do whatever high five you want. And we did a high five where I went like this, and then Allison milked me. And then we did like this thing. Just for us. No one laughed. It was just for us.
When the crew laughs, it's terrible. But I can see how the crew laughs at terrible stuff. Come on. It's like they're frustrated. They want your show to be bad. Like it's making them suffer. They're hot. They're hauling cable. They laugh when your show's tanking. That's a fact. But like the sketch fishermen don't they love it when those fucking cages are empty. Anyways, I can see how important it was to you and Allison. So I put it in because it's like, what do we, we're not going to lose the show based on one high five.
That's what brought Lost down, I think.
So I made them ADR on the backs of their heads. Just I had Allison saying, we've been workshopping high fives just to kind of explain it, why that
came on the sheet and I saw we've been workshopping this, and I was like, what am I ADRing? Like, high five for me. I was like, no. I made it in. Oh, it was important. So that was a surprise. I think that's the show, though. I think for me, it's been like consistent surprises. I think watching the first Halloween episode, the sixth episode from the first season, that was like a turning point for me. I was like, this show is doing something that I never expected. Chicken Fingers episode, getting picked up. Chevy overall. It was so nice to spend it like with these people and having such a. It was just truly joyful and spontaneous and organic and full. Just bask in.
Speaking of full, Strong didn't work though.
I think I started out as a recurring arc as Senior Chang in the first season for like 5 episodes, and I think it was NBC that The Hangover just come out, and they were just like, would you be willing to?
Can't believe you mentioned that.
Properly placed in the first sentence, and they said, well, would you be interested in being full time on it? And I was like, yes. I mean, I have a wife and 2 kids. I just love my medical day job, like I think a year and a half prior. So it was such a blessing just to have anything regular, and then like little did I know it would be just the greatest sitcom in TV history, and then to be a part of this 6 years later, and it like Danny says, to be constantly wonderfully surprised with these scripts, and also just the level of family love that we have amongst the cast. I words can't describe how much I love it.
You have more characters, or your one character has had more characters to play than most of the other. I mean, there's a sort of consistency that you can find.
Right, there is a consistency, but I think that was by design from the first season. Dan had actually told me was, we want to not be in Spanish class, every year, so next year you'll be a student, and he would actually and I remember season 3, you actually said you're gonna be Kim Jong-il this year. I remember he told me rise and fall with Kim Jong-il. It's just like one sentence. He tried to blow up the school. He tried to kill everyone, and it was so great. But you're right. I've been able to play a whole range of characters throughout the 6th season, and then just to play a wannabe actor, which I am in real life. Just to
that took me to figure that out.
He's like, well, he's a Spanish teacher, but I'm a student. I guess he's just crazy. I guess he's really mentally ill. And he's an actor.
episodes where you'd be doing something crazy and and Dan, you'd written just like, don't you realize I'm mentally ill? Just like in this scene. I'm like, oh right. It's just, he has a horrible
Actual life.
Top that.
How could I top that one? How could I resist, being invited to play a guy named Potashnik? I mean, that was really great because when the first phone call we had was, well, we don't really know what this guy does yet, but it'll be something like this, and we know he lives in an RV. And I was like, hey man, I'm down. So it couldn't be anything but fun after that. Seeing the show. I mean, I loved how smart it was from the beginning because the first I actually did a show. What was it? What was it? Pillow Fight was season 3. Yeah. So I narrated that episode. So from then I started kind of watching and seeing. I love smart comedy. And I love the fact that the stuff comes out of relationships with real people, and that was the wonderful thing about coming on. I've never been so welcome, and being invited to a party where everybody was like, I like these people. It was. I mean, that's you don't find that every day, Chauncey, because this is Hollywood. So that was really great, and as I was telling somebody this tonight, it's one thing to watch everybody working while we're sitting around shooting, and you see that, but I absolutely adored how it ultimately translates on the screen when everything is all done. I mean, it's like, wow, they got this out of that.
This
Okay. No, I mean, some of the stuff that, the magic that they do back behind screen, I mean, it's like, yeah, glad I was there.
What's it like to be in a show where you get to play different, for the actors, you get to play different tones from episode to episode? I mean, sometimes it seems to me that you're just playing drama. But even the tone can change from episode to episode, but scene to scene, and even line to line, sometimes you become completely go from something sort of serious to something completely stupid. What's the fun or the challenge in that for anyone?
I think that's what has made this so exciting to us as actors. I know other people on TV shows that have fought to get out of their contracts because they're just bored by doing the same thing week after week. And for all the chaos and drama of the show, we were never bored as actors.
You guys fought to get out of your contract for a wholly different reason.
Not us. We didn't fight to get out of our contracts.
No, I mean, it's not, you're on a show that's not a checklist, because I think that's so easy to go, this person does this person does this is what happens at the school, and then we put them in there, the situation goes. And I feel like, and it's not about whether we were doing something that was very character-driven story, or maybe there was something a little bit more substantial going on, whether it was, paintball or whatever. It's all about the fact that Dan was very clear with who these people were, and like I said, I thought it was great with this season especially, and in the 6th season it was about reestablishing these characters where they are at this point, and then the last 2 seasons really have been about the growth of them to this sort of, whatever this end point is at this point. And I feel like that sometimes a show is, you get to a place where, well, this is what works, and we're just going to keep doing this every week. It's, it keeps it super simple, but what's great is this is a much more complex journey of these people, and can be a much more complex in the storytelling. So I feel like it's not so much tone as much as the evolution of these people.
Yeah, like,
Thank you.
you're welcome. I was trying to. Wait, if you showed somebody, if you didn't ever watch the show and you watched the first season, be like, here's episode 10, and then fast forward to Meow Meow Beans. You're like, this is the same show. You'd be like, did they just drop a bunch of acid all in the air, and it's not on TV anymore, but a billionaire bought it, and I just feel like there's a childlike approach where you're daydreaming, you're like, wouldn't it be cool if the school got turned upside down and there was a pillow monster? I mean, it has that sort of the bright-eyed, the daydreaming to like, wouldn't it be cool if we could do this? And then we got to do all that. It was like I won some contest where like you get to play an action hero, you get to play a depressed alcoholic, you get to play, I can't even remember.
Yeah, that was a perfect example, though, because that was one of those ones where Dan's like, this is going to be normal. It's yell for teachers, it's going to be, you're broken it all out and everything, and then you just got that, I remember I was sitting there at the table with you, and you're like, or dystopian. And then, it gets
cut to Gillian.
And then we were so busy, we just let Rob's like, watch a lot of Logan's Run. We're like, we don't have time, just do whatever. And then it becomes this, like, I don't know. Back then, as I said, about 3 left pulling up in a limo to check on the set. And a sequence. Arrested Development is doing a Buck Rogers dance with horror. But what I was saying, I was just piggybacking off you, like, we tried, to do, we had the normal version of that story that was like a very crowded yell for teachers.
Yeah, it was yell for teachers, okay. Well, the teachers are being rated. I think I'll compete and try to get a higher score. You shouldn't do that. That'll compromise your integrity. See you next week. I guess we should write TV.
Remember the scenes of Blanket Fort that she was just sitting in with the weirdos in that one scene? It was the weirdest
fed grapes by a unicorn man.
I remember thinking, nobody on television is not HBO. Nobody. I just froze. I was like, look at that. And I was like, and next, Parenthood.
It's like Tim Allen creeping up with a bug at the bottom of the screen.
I remember we were shooting that episode, and it was so late at night. We were shooting for so long that Donald had fallen asleep standing up, and I don't think someone woke him up until midway through a take.
He had fallen into deep sleep in his trailer. He was in like stage 4 sleep, and he could not wake up. And it was great.
That was like, I don't know what they call it for we called them Fridays.
Oh yeah.
Where it was 4 in the morning, where this was conspiracy theories, and it was like Pat Galen, which is like they like literally pulling the plug, you're done. The episode is done.
The show's illegal. Someone's gonna die. Bad television.
What can you do?
It's not television, it's Yahoo Screen.
Well, we're going to that. What can you do on Yahoo Screen and the internet?
How are we going to fill the next 5 minutes?
That you couldn't do on NBC.
All kinds of fucking stuff.
There were 2 bucks in the finale. I don't know. I hope that didn't offend anybody. I know it didn't offend anybody, but I hope it didn't make people feel like the show had been polluted. But that first one was an ad lib by Jim. It's just kind of so it was like I had to cut it right after the whole cast are clapping. Yes, if you right back up, but it's like. It was like it's making the whole cast laugh because it was like it was the best delivery of that joke. So anyways, but I was in the bar too. It just sort of felt like
after hours.
Yeah, and I always said I wasn't going to change that much, but then when we started to, it just kind of once I started realizing that pace isn't necessarily only a result of total runtime,
which I always thought it would be. That I always thought the reason why the show had a kind of like 30 Rock pacing, not to flatter ourselves or anything, but that was because we were on that clock, and I got to say done in 20 minutes and 14 seconds or whatever ungodly number it's gotten down to in network TV. But once I was able to readjust and go, you know what, you can hold yourself to that standard pacing. You don't have to necessarily. You don't have to make it 20 minutes. How long would it be? And I stopped looking at the runtime, and lo and behold, every single episode basically was clocking in at around 27 minutes, which started to feel like, okay, well, this must be what God wants. Again, not to flatter ourselves, but there must be a natural kind of like story length of the thing. So and then you can include these jokes where it's just like people you can just write into the script that someone stares at someone for 10 seconds, which would be unheard of on an NBC clock. But that was the biggest important thing. There's a scene where Elroy is trying to figure out what the hell, Britta's talking about. She's playing like ad hoc charades trying to get him to say drawbridge, because she can't think of the word drawbridge. And there's absolutely no way that scene would have been in a normal episode of the NBC days, because it's about 2.5 minutes of Elroy failing to guess the word drawbridge. But it's great because she's going like this and talking about outside a castle, and it's like, I guess that could be a catapult or an alligator. She's like, a mechanical thing. It's like a mechanical alligator. And it has nothing to do with the story, but it has so much to do with the character. It's like the moment when you really fall in love with Elroy for whatever reason. It's just you can say the F word, it turns out. And we can say, my big thing has always been, I love that we can say Jesus finally, because I think that's such not really a profane thing, but something we all say. Like my devoutly Lutheran parents, when they stub their toes in the middle of the night, they don't not say Jesus. It's not. They might not say the F word, but they people say Jesus. It's to express like, oh God, I'm scared the shit out of me. Jesus. and you just get this.
We all thought you were praying then.
And so there's that, but those are cosmetic things. I think the big thing is just that ability to loosen the chronological corset to the point where you could actually have moments, jokes that are driven by long stares and silences and things. It sounds hilarious.
You had the ending here of you have all these tags this year, and I can't remember them quite so vividly. I don't know if I can't remember if that was a regular feature of the NBC show, but they really stand out this time.
We always had the tags. The tags came back after our first 6 episodes in season 1, and actually for a while then it became a sole domain of Troy and Abed's relationship.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Almost like these kind of strange like Calvin and Hobbes pieces about this friendship that was blossoming. And then it's like that was a big like vacuum that Donald left behind in the show. Was really performance. It was just that friendship had become just this staple of the show. It was like Calvin leaving, and like now Hobbes is just hanging out. That you're just not Hobbes. It's a bad metaphor because Calvin and Hobbes is just 2 characters. It's not like there's other people in whatever. Shut up. I think this year it became unconscious. I don't know if we really set out to do it. Chris and I are always tickled by the idea of the story behind the story and stuff. It's just a natural place that we always tend to go. Is it just sort of like somebody will go, oh well, what's this one thing that you wouldn't dream of revisiting? But Ryan Ridley. But I do think, looking back on it, that unconsciously maybe what we were doing is saying to the audience because whether or not this is the last season, we certainly know we got to be closer to the end than the beginning, and we're even if there's going to be 12 seasons, this is still the middle, and that's still a dramatic point. And don't we need to start atoning with the impersonal cosmic force that is all things coming to an end? And isn't the best way to do that to start celebrating in these tags the idea that everything's a story, everything's an idea, everything's a spin-off. You can make your own shows, and like these characters that don't matter for anything can go home and they'll be boiled in a David Mamet play, behind the scenes, and it was I think it's part of this that's sort of like making sure that there's puppies born before Hooch dies and Turner and Hooch. Was Hooch the dog? Did you guys know that he dies? But there's puppies. Sorry, Turner. it's like one of Tom Hanks' dark. And he's like, he's got blood all over his teeth, and he's going like, I hate my dog! There's too many angels in heaven!
And this last episode is. I had to get away from the dead dog.
Tom Hanks ate a dog that he killed. Anyway, so in this last episode.
You say almost everything that one could say about a last episode, and the specific last episode, and all other last episodes, and your last episode, including ending it like several episodes might have ended in other shows, and yet somehow being an emotional experience at the same time. I mean, you bring in a song at the end with Jeff takes Annie and out to the airport, which is exactly what almost every show on television would do to make you feel something at the end of the television show. And yet it works. It works both as a comment on that and as an actual emotional experience, which actually sort of seems to be your game through a lot of this. It's made up, but it's actually
No king and sucker.
Classic alpha salt.
Anyway, just can we talk about this last episode and what people felt and how you constructed it?
I mean, I don't even remember how we arrived. I mean, I think it was just exhaustion, and this is it. This is the end, and I think a lot of the biggest mistakes we've ever made on the show are the results of hard work. Like, I think Chris has been through the story 1,000 times when I go like, oh, I had an epiphany that we shouldn't try too hard and start with an idea, and so luckily when you're really over schedule and over budget, exhaustion sets in, so it actually does become more possible to do the right thing, which is I think the lazy thing. I think the lazy right thing, the natural thing, was to end the show, this very meta show, with the characters being more meta than they've ever been, and talking not about how everything's over, because my God, everything's been over with this show since the back 9 of season 1. It's always been on the bubble. It's always had a crosshairs on it. The finality of Community has always been hyper aerosol, and
Dan was literally fired from the show.
yeah, the show has always been well acquainted with death. It's 6 feet under of sitcoms. It works in its own funeral parlor on it, embalming itself.
Even leading up to the finale, you and I were like, about the end of the show, we just do a regular episode that doesn't even address it. I knew that we were probably being like really fooling ourselves by even toying with that notion, but it was again, I felt like we were heading to that area where once again we had to address ever since like the second season where we don't know what's going on with the show, whether it's coming back, so we usually have to do a series. You know what I mean? But of course, then this idea again, the whole thing was a blur, so I'm trying to remember how we stumbled upon this idea of pitching what the second season was and not doing it in a way that was just obnoxious, hopefully, but in a way that was like more about the characters having leading into their voices of going, I don't know what happens from here on out. Where do they see their lives going?
Yeah, I mean, the last thing you want is for the audience to be thinking one thing while the show is thinking another. I think that's the one definition of lack of charisma for a TV show. It's like, oh, this TV show doesn't understand me, it doesn't know what I'm thinking, it's not on the same page as we have all. And so that meta thing, it's not a stunt, it's any more than ancient Greek stories that for people who have been listening to ancient Greek stories throughout all of their ancient Greek lives, like those stories are festooned with oracles who are very meta, which is a Greek prefix. Look it up. And because there's always those stories start with somebody saying, hey, you're going to get killed by a guy with one shoe, and then somebody goes, I'm going to kill everybody with one shoe, and then because he does that, he ends up falling off a shoe store.
That's how the man with one red shoe he just murdered everyone.
So obviously everybody's going to be thinking, what about season? Yeah, 6 seasons into what? There's a 7th season. Is there blah blah? So it's just like, okay, let's just not talk about it. Maybe, probably, maybe, but always okay if nothing else. We've done a lot, and I love the amount of work the actors get done with their faces. can see on Alison Brie's face, like, so much that we wouldn't be able to write when she says, seventh season, we don't know, there's a lot of variables shared quickly with Jeff, and it's not sexual, nor is it, it's just sort of, it's just filled with promise and romance and possibility. And I think that's such a great way to go out if we're going out. A great place to pick it up from if we don't go out.
And also, the circumstances also sort of inspired the story in a way, because we literally had Keith for one day. And we're like, so I guess he's getting up in the study room in the first scene and he's saying, okay, this is unceremoniously leaving. And then we sort of go like, well, what? And then, I don't know, we just sort of ran with that idea, and how everyone was sort of affected by that. That definitely, I think, was part of the charm of the sort of what we were dealing with.
It was either that or he had to take another poop like he did on the RV. So Keith had to go shoot something really quick or something weird. So his character walks around the RV, and so it's like, I'm going to go try the other door. And then at the end he comes back and goes, hey, I'm back. And they go, where were you? And he says, I'd be lying if I said I didn't poop.
We're going to take three questions.
By one person.
Would you like to pick those, Dan, or shall I?
I don't want to care.
Hands?
The press release that you put out when you found out you weren't being suggested, Dan.
I'll repeat the question.
Yeah, when you found out you weren't coming back, it was so smart, and from a fan's standpoint, very much appreciated, because before that rumor mill gets started, it's really nice to know, what was happening from your point of view. Do you actors feel like, when we really felt like the shows that were happening when in your absence were different and suffering, frankly. And I'm just wondering if the actors felt that as well, and if that's why you were brought back, or was it a Chevy Chase issue that he left so you were allowed to come back?
Did you ever hear that? There's a controversial question about how the actors felt.
Say everything that she said. Then you're going to repeat it.
That was a very good question. She's from the New York Times, actually.
They're much harder over there.
So the question was,
I guess, was to the actors.
did actors feel like season 4 sucked? And also, I'll say before they talk, it was nothing to do with Jeffy on my side. I was not, as far as I know, I was not fired because I had a feud with Chevy Chase. That feud was over 5 minutes after it started. Chevy and I were texting each other butt jokes while we were in TMZ's headlines, being at each other's throats. But it was because that's the nature of that unfortunate beast that I started, and then the buck stops here. But it wasn't, as far as I know, it wasn't the Chevy thing. I mean, Chevy and I are similar creatures, given the narcissistic rants about, I don't like this guy, whatever. Chevy made a couple of those rants about me. I don't know if anybody at Sony was actually stupid enough to think that if that's the reason they fired me, they're even dumber than
Well, that's what we were thinking.
I did kind of seem that way because there was a big dramatic thing with Chevy, and then the next dramatic thing was I was fired. I don't think Sony's that dumb. I think they're evil, but I don't think they're dumb.
You still make the show for Sony, right?
Yeah, but at this point, if they fired me and brought me back, I can say anything I want. Just a terrible, Death Star of a company. They bring you back. That's a flashing joke underneath it. But no, I think that Joe Adalian from The Vulture, I referenced this article before. If you root around for it, he wrote a very short article. The headline was something like "The very boring, likely truth about Sony's decision to fire Dan Hart." It's just boring. It's just this is something that before the Twitter days, it happened all the time. You try to fix things about a show that's failing because Sony spends $1 bazillion on a show, and it's all down the toilet until the show becomes Seinfeld. And so there's a zero-sum game for them, and they spend their time trying to change any variables they can. And they probably didn't think one of those variables was Chevy Chase because he's super famous. So in that regard, maybe they didn't think if it was him or me, it had to be me. But I don't. I think it was more just a general thing of like, Dan's a bad showrunner. Let's try a different one. That's and it wouldn't have been public and explosive if the technology hadn't changed so dramatically under all of our feet. Like, it was all of a sudden we're living in this world where everyone knows Shonda Rhimes' name, and all these showrunners are like band leaders, and that was all happening at the same time. So
I think we have to actually have someone else ask you.
sorry. So you guys, did you think season 4 was terrible? That was the other part of it.
I thought it was the best season we'd ever had. It was magic.
And you can
I think it speaks to what I was just saying about a checklist. I think for that season, we sort of became a checklist. And by that, I mean, anyone coming in, you can't replace Dan, and they come in with a very difficult task. The best they could do, it felt like at that time, was pick up a shopping list that had all of our characters, our traits, and we started repeating ourselves in the sense that we were hitting storylines and just bringing back characters. So it felt like a checklist, like we were satisfying. Well, this is Community, but Community is everyone that's up here, and all the writers that are up here, and all the other actors up here. That's Community, and you need the whole sum of it. And I just feel like, it was difficult, and it felt, we were doing our best to speak out when we could and try to protect our characters or try to do it. But, at the end of the day, yes, it felt like something was missing.
There's no way the show could continue after that thing. And so it was either Dan or none.
So one more question.
First, enjoyed the St. Elsewhere snow globe.
First of all, shout out.
A question about it was a recent one about the guerrilla advertising episode, and obvious, Honda has the media live, you got pre-roll, and you can't, with a full weight, you have to watch it. Was there anything like your product placement, and then we decide, we're going to have fun with this and just do overkill, or were they completely separate?
The questions about the product placement that we did with, that was like the third thing that we've done. We've done some pretty cool stuff with Subway and with KFC and this time with Honda. They were super cool. It was totally laissez-faire.
It was Honda. That was super.
I always tell, if you're going to do integration on that level, the caveat with the company is that they have to be willing to be as flexible as we have to. It has to be like a marriage. Like, you have to be willing to make it work, and you have to, that no one can be bluffing anybody or having leverage. So Honda got that. That's to their credit. I don't know how that works on their side, but I'm always amazed these corporations are willing to. I think it's really smart because they walk away with some of the best advertising money you can buy, as long as they're willing to push them.
They were happy with what we had in Outline Form, and then we, on our own, added the whole V runner. Like, they were so happy, and we were doing that because we gave tons more on the storyline in that episode. Only because they were so cool to work with, and they were just enjoying everything we were doing, and it was just a great review.
Well, thanks. Does anybody have a sentimental last word for you?
Thanks for getting my job back, Joel.
I have to pay him personally, too.
Thank you for being everything about Community that everybody actually likes. Chris McKenna since the 9th episode of season 1 when he came on. I couldn't, this show wouldn't exist, and it certainly wouldn't be funny without Chris, and he has went through a lot and sired 2 children, 2 orphans, I call them, while putting up with a third, more important baby.
No, I thank all of you. It's the best experience of my creative life. It's been a dream since the beginning. Most talented cast, even with the revolving door that I've ever worked with, and the writers are fantastic. And not to kiss corporate ass, but thank you to Sony and Yahoo for bringing life to the show again and again and again and again. Or at least with Yahoo this last season, because we had, I don't know, I just watched that finale, and it's just, it's one of the best episodes I think we've ever done on the show.
Thank you, Jeff Engel, for buying this in the room at NBC, which apparently got him fired. I don't know. Because he where did he go? But Bill Lawrence, but he bought the pitch in the room because we were old friends from the Jack days, and thank you, Sony, for your tenacity and your completely strange codependent sitting relationship with me. Yeah, you guys are great too. You look great.
Thanks very much. Please wait, audience, for the actors to exit. I've been told to say. And this has been the Community Panel 2015.